Alright, I got a 9mm gel test for you here today. These are Underwood Hero, they call them. 70 grain, all copper hollow points. You can see how deep those cavities go there, so I guess these are supposed to expand pretty good. I guess it's part of Lehigh's line of maximum expansion bullets. They don't put it on here anymore, but when you look it up on their website, it says 70 grain Hero maximum expansion. So they used to have like these around 100 grain in 9mm, and they expanded wider, I believe. But I don't see that on their website anymore. I believe these are fairly new. So you can see there they're advertising 1650 feet per second. And I got two different barrel lengths today we're going to try. See how they do in a micro and out of a full size. So this is Taurus GX4. I'll look up the exact specs, but around a 3-inch barrel. And then a Glock 17 with a 4.5-inch barrel. I'm going to be using my Knox 10% ballistic gelatin here. BB calibration today coming in at 3.5 inches. We will have 2 blocks lined up. I'll do bare block first and then 4 layers of denim. And as always, temperature controlled. Alright, get us set up here and get started. On the right, I'll shoot the GX4 first with the short barrel, and then on the left with the Glock. Switch the camera around for each shot, that way you're up close on both. Do a quick examination, then we'll spin around, put the 4 layers of denim on, do the same thing. Then at the end of the video, we get retained weight and get a measurement on the expanded diameters. Alright, light penetration on these, which I expected at only 70 grains, so a lot of people scoff at that, but there's actually a lot of people out there that want light penetration, living in an apartment complex or what have you. They're worried about over penetration, shooting through the wall, hitting the neighbor. So through the GX4, the short barrel, 9 inches penetration. It looks like I got about 1 more inch on the Glock there, about 3/4 of an inch more. Wound cavity is a little bit bigger from the Glock, from the full size, but not a whole lot more. The short barrel there did pretty good. Of course, we'll pull these out, take a look at them, get an expanded diameter and all that. But they definitely expanded. There's the entry on both. Check out the side profile here from the GX4. And from the Glock. And actually, so right there's the edge of that one. Just about 2.5 inches of penetration, depends on how I hold the camera, but I'm seeing just shy of 2.5. Or I think I said penetration, but I meant the spread on the permanent wound cavity there. And then the Glock one kind of meets up with that one right there, right at 2.5. So those are definitely some of the biggest cavities I've seen as far as like width goes there from 9mm. There's a look in the sun for you guys. Spin her around. So it's from the bottom, so now the long barrel's on the right there. Alright, there's out of the block. So on the right was the short barrel, and it actually did what I was thinking, which is why I wanted to test 2 different barrel lengths. Looks like we got larger overall expansion here from the short barrel due to the lower velocity. So you're going to have a larger diameter there, overall expansion, which could partially explain why you got a little bit shallower penetration with the full size. Because of the extra velocity, these pedals are folding back further. Once it's all said and done, your expanded diameter is less, but it does do a little more damage because of that higher velocity. But then with those pedals folding further back, you get a little extra penetration as well. Better get these blocks spun around and we'll try it with the denim. Alright, 4 layers of denim. Again, we'll do the GX4 short barrel on the right and the long barrel Glock on the left. Alright, hoping you guys can hear me in this wind. I keep trying to record in between it. Oh, that's interesting. The one out of the Glock, out of the long barrel, more velocity, it fragmented there. There's entry for both. Short barrel, long barrel. Wound cavities look almost identical. Still nice and large, looks about 2.5 inches across. See that one dug the denim in there with the short barrel. And yeah, so short barrel looked like it performed the same. However, the higher velocity through that Glock with the longer barrel, you can see copper fragment, and then there's the base. So all the petals broke off on that one. Due to that, we got 13 inches from the Glock and those petals shearing off. Still got 9 inches on the short barrel there. But the wound cavities, still massive, still super impressive, match identical to without the denim. I'm curious though if that's, I mean, I'm not going to take a million shots of these, I only got one box and they're expensive. But I'm curious if through the denim it's going to do that every time with the longer barrel, higher velocity. It's going to get you closer to the advertised velocity, because at 1650, that's certainly out of like a 4+ inch barrel gun. It's not going to give you that much velocity out of a 3-inch. I'm going to take another shot here. I'm not worried about seeing the cavity all that well, because we've already seen what they do. But somewhere in the center here, I'm going to come in, put another one through the Glock and see if it fragments again like that, or if it stays together this time through the denim. Alright, what happened this time? Yep, kind of the same story, but not quite as far. So that one went about 11.5, because that was at 13 there. And yeah, it's just riddled. So I guess now I should probably take another one through the denim with the Taurus to see if that result is repeatable. Came in a little lower than I intended there. Hopefully we're still okay. Not too bad. I'm gonna have to roll it over. And yeah. So that looks a lot different because it was real close to the bottom, so it didn't let the gel expand like it would have if it was a more centralized hit. I've noticed that through other tests. If I get too low there against the table, it makes the wound channel a lot smaller. But yeah. So through the Taurus, through the denim, it's staying together with that lower velocity. With the higher velocity through the 4.5 inch barrel Glock, they're shearing off when it hits that denim. Which, if you read the description on these, they say they maintain their shape, I guess, or at least they don't expand or what have you if you shoot through like heavy hard barriers like drywall or steel or whatever. But if you hit something fluid based, then they mushroom out like that. So the idea being that you'll still be able to shoot through barriers like glass or a car door or something like that. I guess having that barrier of denim there, it's causing them to react different there. So I guess if you I don't know if you have to use them on an attacker with heavy clothing, then it looks like, well, through a longer barrel there, it looks like your petals are going to shear off, and thus you're going to get a little more penetration than if they're just wearing a t-shirt or something. With the shorter barrel, it doesn't matter, it doesn't change at all. Alright, so here's the ones through the bare block at Glock here on the left, longer barrel, shorter barrel on the right. .655, 65 cal. .67 there on that one, so it is a little bit, I mean, you guys can see it with your own eyes, but a little bit larger expanded diameter. What we got, .668 there, so about .67 overall. There's a .68 right there. So again, larger expanded diameter through the short barrel there because the petals don't fold back as far. Retained weight. Oh, shut off on me. I was going to say, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'll tell you what it says. Through the GX4, the short barrel.
69.4, and this wind's going to affect my scale a little bit through the Glock. 70.3. This must have a gel. No, I picked it all out. Probably the wind. 70.2, 70.1. It's because the wind is affecting it. Very sensitive. Alright. And then through the denim, short barrel on top. And then as you saw through the full size with the longer barrel, they're just kind of shattering when they hit the denim. So there's not really much point in measuring these. I mean, this one, it held on to a couple petals there, so we still got about 0.63, 63 caliber there, but I mean, otherwise 39. And then there's all the little pieces that fragmented off through the denim on the short barrel. That is interesting. They did peel back a little further through the short barrel when they hit the denim compared to through the bare block, but you'll see that in the measurement here. So, see, what was this? It was like 6.7, 6.8 at best. That's what it was. I remember. So through the denim, 0.63, 0.64, so yeah, a little bit smaller. Obviously this one's going to be pretty much the same. That little piece of denim out there. Retained weight, I think, is still pretty much 100%. 70.2, 69.5, so yeah. Sorry about the wind, hope you guys can hear me. So this base here, 46.9, and then this one that still has a few petals hanging on, 55.2 grains. So there's our interesting results. Now I'm really glad I tried two different barrel lengths, because we definitely got a different result, especially through the denim there. But those are our results. So obviously very light penetrating unless you use a longer barrel through heavy clothing, and then you get a little extra because these petals break off. As I said, some people want the lighter penetration, like living in apartments or whatnot. They're afraid that it'll go through the wall. Like I said, they advertise, however, that these kind of like hold their shape, I guess, going through hard barriers. So they would still punch through decently, but being light, only being, you know, 70 grain, then I guess it would be a reduced penetration over like 124 grain. But regardless, you guys saw what it did in the block, so you can decide whether it's for you or not. Obviously, those wound cavities were amazing for the first, you know, few inches, but obviously limited on penetration there. If you guys want to get yourself a little scale, micrometer, caliper, anything like that, shooting bag I use, earmuff, safety glasses, target stand, steel targets, and more, links in the description. If you want to see a review on this Taurus GX4 and the Glock 17 there, I'll put links in the description for that as well. Check out the 9mm gel test playlist on the channel for a bunch more 9mm gel tests if you're into that sort of thing. Also got 380, 40, 45, and I got a bunch of rimfire ones too in the 22/rimfire playlist. But thanks for stopping by and checking this one out, and I hope to catch you on the next one.